My name is Catherine Langlois. I am winemaker and owner here at Sandbanks Winery in Prince Edward County. What got me interested in winemaking? That is a very hard question to answer because it's like my first love. It's what I do, it's who I am, it's my entire working career. I've been very fortunate to do a profession that I love so much, that has changed so much through the years, and that has known the success that Sandbanks has. So Sandbanks Winery comes from a very humble beginnings. We started basically making wine in the basement of the house. I bought this piece of land here in Prince Edward County for a few $1,000s. I sold my red motorcycle to buy my first blue tractor. I was making wine in the basement and selling it only to restaurants, to licensees, until people started to come on my back step on Sunday morning, just knocking at the door and saying, "Where can I buy your wine?" So from that, we built a small tasting room in the house, and one step to the other, we started selling wine to the LCBO. We built this beautiful tasting facility, and was very fortunate to work with a lot of young, ambitious, hardworking people. And I think we have an amazing team. We all work very hard. Mother Nature definitely has its challenges, but very fortunate. We have a lot of fun. I was very fortunate to win a bursary after graduating from hotel management and to go work and study in Burgundy in France. So I did that as long as I could, and then eventually I had to come back to Canada. I couldn't marry a Frenchman, I guess, so I couldn't stay in Europe. And I came back, and I worked for different Ontario wineries, and mostly for Pelee Island Winery, where I learned more about Canadian grape hybrids like Baco, like Vidal, Céval, how to work with those kind of grapes, and also how to market wine in Canada. So it was very useful. And I came to Prince Edward County and fell in love with the region. At the time, there was, I believe, 4 wineries open. There's now more than 40. So I was able to buy this gorgeous piece of land overlooking Lake Ontario and I started planting, and the rest is history. My winemaking techniques, I think, are a bit like many Canadians. They're a blend of old world roots. I'm from Quebec originally, as you can tell from my accent. So I grew up drinking and tasting mostly French and Italian wines. And then I really enjoy some of the New World wines as well, and some of the New World techniques. I think that depending on the wine we make, we integrate different techniques. If I'm making Cabernet Franc, of course, then we go and more like age it in French or European oak, and we have more a hands-off approach, versus if we are making Baco Noir, which is our flagship, then it's a totally different approach, in the sense that it's, you really have to control what is happening. It's a very hands-on approach, and it gets more oak aging. You have to control the acidity. It's like, it's put your boxing gloves on and battle it out until the wine becomes soft enough and round enough to be appreciated. So it's, depending on the grape that you're working with, and depending on the year, right? We have years where we have severe drought in Prince Edward County, which is awesome for making full-bodied red wines. And we have years where it's cooler, so then you have to work with higher acidity wines. So it's, and I think that's part of why it's so fun to make wine, is because there's not one bottle that's the same. There's not one vintage, not one grape. It's awesome. So Baco Noir became our flagship right from the beginning. And I have to say, I think I got a lot of criticism at the beginning because in our area, people were planting mostly Pinot Noir and Chardonnay and Riesling, which are also grapes that I love, but I wanted to make a really full-bodied red wine in Canada that I could make year after year. So Baco really appealed to me because it's early ripening, therefore ripe grapes equal really nice full-bodied reds. It's disease resistant, so you don't have to spray it a lot, and it's winter resistant, so you don't get so many buds that die over the winter. And since I said that earlier, I come from humble beginning, I didn't have millions in the bank that I could gamble, so I wanted to plant something that, that was going to live and that I could make the best possible wine with it. And then I started to make Baco. Now we make Baco Reserve. I remember when I started to buy expensive barrels to put our Baco Noir in it, everybody really lost their mind. They said, she is nuts. People will never pay $19.95 for a bottle of Baco Reserve, but it's one of our best-selling wine for sure. So I think, working with Baco, working with Maréchal Foch also, which are both some hybrids that I really enjoyed. They give you that ripe cherry, plum, you add a bit of oak to it, then you get the vanilla. I think it's great with a lot of dishes that we cook. We're a cold climate country. We cook a lot of rich stews and meats and chili and so on. So I think that Baco is, it's a good complement to what we already do. People often ask if it was harder because I was a female winemaker. I think making wine and establishing a winery in a new area is challenging, regardless of who you are. Maybe being a female played to my advantage in certain ways, in the sense that, I didn't really have to prove to others. I didn't feel like all eyes were on me. I felt that most people thought I was crazy to do this, so it didn't really matter whether I failed or succeeded in the eyes of others. I was just doing it because that's what I loved. I love, raising my kids on a farm. It allowed me to live the country life, which is how I grew up. So no, I didn't really see it as a challenge because I was a female rather than a male. I think that the situation was challenging for anybody. I think you need to be energetic, passionate about what you do, and just have the love of it and believe in it, that you will do everything that it possibly takes to succeed in growing grapes and making wine in Canada. So I believe here at Sandbanks that some of our winemaking techniques have added a lot of qualities to our wine. I think it always starts in the vineyard, of course. Growing hybrid grapes like Baco Noir and Maréchal Foch, you can crop them at 12 tons an acre if you let it, but we really control the quantity of the crop that we get, so that those Baco grapes are really, really full. They're rich, they're sweet, they're juicy, they're just ripe for the picking. And and then from there on, we age them in high quality barrels. We have a winemaking, and for the whites, maybe we have a winemaking techniques that is really not so much overpowering, but really keeping the fruit. So I think Sandbanks wine, I would like to think that they reflect a lot of fruit qualities. Here at Sandbanks, we really appreciate when people come and visit us. We have a beautiful boutique. We have many events throughout the summer and on the off season as well. We are lucky to work with amazing people, young, energetic, knowledgeable team. So I hope that you come and see us.